Hello and welcome to an out of this world episode of the Drywall Podcast. I am your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, once again, our good friends Paps Duggins from Binghamton, New York joins us. I'm excited to welcome Paps back for a very special episode 100. Paps also happens to hold the distinguished honor of being our very first interviewee way back in May of 2022. Paps rejoins us to talk about his past work experience and coming up young in Georgia when he stumbled into a priest that gave him a shot.
And I happened to look out the window. I lived across the street. I happened to look out the window. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him and see if he needs help or something, And went out there, struck up a conversation with him. He handed me the tools to wash, and told me to be there 8:00 the next morning. And I showed up in a brand new denim suit.
Beautiful.
like I was going to hang out or something, like I was going to a club.
Yeah.
By the end, the end
you were looking good.
It was torn. Yeah.
Paps was looking sharp.
that suit was messed up by the end of the day.
We talk a little bit about the Surry project that just passed, Surpro Stilts, and teaming up with a partner when he first got his start, or right around the first part, I should say. Paps is one of the friendliest interviewees I've ever had on the show, and I know you will feel the same. Just want to take a moment to reflect on 100 episodes. I am beyond grateful to you, the listeners, to everybody that is tuned in, all of the energy and community that the Drywall Podcast has created. I am humbled to be a part of this, and I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, the listener, how much I appreciate you for tuning in and joining me on the Drywall Podcast on this journey. I don't have any intentions of stopping. And here's to another 100. This episode of the Drywall Podcast and all of the episodes of the Drywall Podcast in the month of May and June are brought to you by the good folks at Rocket City Drywall out of Huntsville, Alabama. Not only are they contributing to the success of the Drywall Podcast, but you can listen to owner Alana Black's story on episodes 96 and 97. Alana discusses her path to owning this thriving drywall distributor and how that path enabled her to discover maybe a new product. Not many women get to say that they learned to drive behind the wheel of a forklift at 8 years old. But that's just one of many skills Alana has learned from her grandfather at Rocket City Drywall. She's owned the mom and pop supply yard in Huntsville since 2016 and has dedicated her life to persevering the legacy of her family business. Serving residential and commercial construction, she promotes old school business values while pushing her industry to be ever growing in innovation and quality. She reminds us to never underestimate the little giants. But for now, sit back and relax as we join Paps Duggins 2 years later on the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Drywall
Nice.
Alien. We got Paps Dugan back on the Drywall
How you guys
Podcast
doing?
after a small
Thanks for having
hiatus.
Yes, sir.
Paps was the very first podcast interviewee on the Drywall Podcast, May 2022. 2
Yes.
years, just over 2 years ago. And we had a great conversation. And I figured what a fantastic way to celebrate 100 episodes than by having our good friend Paps back on the Drywall Podcast to see what your journey has, see what's happened over the years.
Not much, just a whole lot of mudslinging. That's it.
Mud slinging. So
Yes,
you
sir.
are, how old are you, Paps?
Turning 42 in September. 41.
Okay.
I
And
have to think about that for a second.
yeah, are you still schlepping the Columbia stuff? We talked a little bit
Oh
about you
yeah.
being a Columbia ambassador a long time ago. Now they've got all these cool ambassadors. I haven't seen too much of your stuff like lately. Maybe you're still posting stuff, maybe I'm not seeing it enough. What's going on with the
Uh,
social?
no, the social's still there, but I haven't really been active on it as much as I used to be. I got a lot of
Yeah.
videos coming, but just finding the time to edit, it's been a whirlwind over the past few months here. So just finding the time to sit back and really get my editing going and get some quality videos out there. So I didn't really want to just push anything out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. I get you. And then you're still, I remember back in the day, we talked a little bit about you being solo. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yep. Yep. Still
All right.
solo. Yep. Yeah, still pushing the bazooka and turning back and wiping it down myself. Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of like it, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Go at my own pace,
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
have to worry about no one calling out or, no attitudes, any of that. I go in there and I get it done and come home at the
yeah,
end of the day. I'll be a little bit more beat, but it's not that
yeah,
bad.
yeah. We were supposed to go 3 hours ago. You had some stuff going on. What did you have going this morning that caused you to push back a little bit?
Well, my dog over here, he was being a bit of a prick around the house, so I had to really get him straightened out. I don't know, in his old age, he's getting a little temperamental. So
Yeah.
I had to kind of isolate him and take care of that situation before it got out of control.
How
Yeah, but
old?
he's doing good. He's going on 10 years old now. Yeah,
Oh,
so he's getting
10.
up there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 10-year-old American Bulldog. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's getting up there and very temperamental. And also I have a little Yorkie, and from time to time he gets a little angry, so to
Okay.
speak.
Okay.
But
And
other than that, he's good.
you're in Brooklyn, is that correct?
Oh no, that's where I was born and raised, but I'm in Binghamton, New York.
That's right.
Yeah.
And just for me and our listeners, where is Binghamton located at approximate to New York, Manhattan?
A little more north, going towards Albany. I'm gonna say Elmira.
Okay. My
Yeah.
sister-in-law lives in the Catskills. Are you close to the
Oh, okay.
Catskills?
Yeah, I'm still maybe 2.5 out from the Catskills. A little
Okay.
further east, I believe.
All right. All
I
right.
think so.
Well, I've got a little different format now after 100 episodes. I mean, it's,
Okay.
when you and I talked, I was just shooting from the hip. It was like, just, say what you will. It was the first episode, didn't really know what I was doing, but I'm still pretty much doing the same thing. And
Okay.
it involves digging in, more of a human interest piece than anything. But we're getting into like, how Paps came to be. So I don't think we did sort of that format last time. So,
Okay.
we chatted, we talked a little bit about your history and stuff, but let's go back in time.
Okay.
How did you, and maybe we did, gosh, I need to go revisit our first episode, but how did you, oh, one question too is, have you been listening to the Drywall podcast since that episode at
Yeah, I
all?
caught a few episodes. The Dan the Mudman, I caught that episode.
Okay.
Uh, Drywall Shorty, I caught that episode. Yeah,
Okay.
so here and there when I have time to sit down and really listen, yeah, I tune in. Yes, sir.
Do you
Absolutely.
listen? Do you listen at work at all?
At work, not so much because the radio that I have is not really a Bluetooth. It's
Uh,
just a local stations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I tuned in, but yeah, I might upgrade so I could tune in a little more,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that going on the D-Wall radio or something.
Yeah, they have these things called or this platform called Pandora or
Yeah. Okay.
Spotify that you can, you don't have to listen to commercials.
Ah, sweet, sweet.
Okay, so Paps, we're gonna go back in time. What did you do preceding drywall? We probably discussed this, but you know what? There's probably a lot of new listeners that aren't familiar with Paps, Mud Madness, the Drywall Alien, these sort of aliases that you have.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into the trades, I guess, and maybe what were you doing just prior to getting into the trades? Did you go to college, out of high school?
No, out of high school, I went and got my GED.
Okay.
School really wasn't for me sitting in behind the desk all day.
Yeah.
Really wasn't my forte. You know what I mean? But after that, I got into an auto part warehouse. I was stocking shelves for auto parts, and it was called GB 500, if I remember correctly. And I
Okay.
was just getting the auto parts situated in the warehouse to go out to various customers and stores that they provided tools for and parts. Then
Okay.
from there, we left Brooklyn and tried my way down south a little bit in Georgia. And
Who's we?
me, my wife, and my mom at the time,
Okay.
we to say about 2000, 2001,
Okay.
we went down to Georgia, try our luck in the South. Throughout my childhood, my mom tried to get me out of Brooklyn and move South Carolina, North Carolina, more subtle
Okay.
areas to see if we could make a change in life.
Yeah. How
So at
come
that
down?
point,
Why down there?
we have family down there, and it's a
Okay.
lot more quieter, calm, compared to New York City, the
Yeah.
five boroughs. It's always go, 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 100 miles an hour.
It's
you know.
intense.
So yes, sir. So South Carolina's a little more slower, and you could actually think and breathe and get some
Yeah.
fresh air. So we tried that a few times, but at this particular moment, we moved to Douglasville, Georgia, and
Okay.
my wife now, girlfriend at the time, was pregnant, and I was just looking for different work. Tried the supermarket, tried just different labor jobs, and one day
Yeah.
my neighbor Jeff Priest, still talk to him this day. He was outside washing tools, and I happened to look out the window. I lived across the street. I happened to
That's
look out
right.
the window. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him and see if he needs help or something. And went out there, struck up a conversation with him. He handed me the tools to wash, and told me to be there 8 o'clock the next morning, and I showed up in a brand new denim suit,
Beautiful.
like like I was going to hang out or something, like I was going to a club.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the end, yeah, the end
You
of
were
the day,
looking
that suit
good.
was torn. Yeah,
Paps was
that
looking sharp.
that that suit was messed up by the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
he didn't say like, dude, we're gonna be yeah, go get your grubbies on. Nothing like that. He would just let you go.
Not that I remember, no.
What was his name real quick, one more time?
Jeff Priest, Priest Drywall. They still service Douglasville area. I think the surrounding areas, Douglasville, Georgia. Yeah, definitely giving them a call. One of the best drywalls I've known.
He's still doing it,
Yeah.
huh?
Yes, sir. And his boys is out there doing it. They're hauling butt out there. Doing some real good work, real good things out there. And
Cool.
he's a soldier for the Lord too.
Oh, okay.
He's an actual pastor, and preaches the word.
Oh,
So
wow. He's a
yes, sir.
pastor slash drywaller.
Yes, sir. He's a really great guy. Open his
Interesting.
heart in his home. His family. Everybody
Yeah.
embraced me like I was family. So
Very
I tip my
cool.
hat off to him, and I love him to this day. We still
Yeah.
communicate and talk. And, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Are you a religious person yourself?
I believe in God, but I don't really do religion, so to speak. I
Yeah.
don't. really go to
You
church or
you don't go
anything.
to church? Okay. All right.
No, but I
Interesting.
do praise the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Cool. So this guy takes you to work. You got your nice clean clothes on. What do you do? What is he having you do out of the gate?
One tries to teach me how to mix up the mud, of course.
Sure.
Yeah. So you want to grab that bucket with your feet, because once it gets away, it
Yeah.
could potentially be dangerous, So
Yes. Yeah.
really grab that bucket with your feet, and from then it was off to the races, slapping screws,
Okay.
spotting screws for the longest, put
Yep.
me in closets to do seams,
Okay.
just to get practice. Other than that, it was just things like that, sweeping up, rolling up cords at the end of the day, keeping the job nice and clean, and
Yeah.
just progress my way up.
Was
Sure.
he predominantly a hand finisher at the time?
No, he had the whole toolkit.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, yeah, it was a mismatch of different tools. I don't think it was a particular set that he went with. Just whatever was there, really.
Yeah, yeah. And this was
Yeah.
around 2001.
Yes. Mhm.
I don't remember working in the union, I don't remember what tools in particular they were running to. Brand wasn't quite as big a deal
Mhm.
maybe as it is now. People tout their brands that they're using. But
Yeah.
you know, back then it was like just get the stuff on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, the
All right.
least amount of sanding as possible. But yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
guy, great guy.
Great guy. And were you working with a crew? Were you an apprentice for a
Uh,
crew?
yes, it was Jeff, his son Brandon Priest, and I think one of his childhood friends that eventually started working with him,
Okay.
Daryl Burns, I believe. And it was the three of those guys, and they brought me in as I was one of their own and treated me as one of their own.
That's
I
cool.
love them to this day for that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It seems like some of the stories that I've heard in the Drywall podcast, people get taken advantage of a little bit in this industry.
Yeah.
So that wasn't your experience. You had some
No,
good dudes that brought you up, man. They weren't dicks.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Good.
Yeah. Of course, we rouse each other on the job and things
Oh
of that
yeah.
nature, but but other than that, no underhanded business, no
Yeah.
stabbing in the bag, none of that kind of things. No.
Yeah, yeah. Very cool. So you progress on. How long were you with that company? How long did it take you
Mm.
to get proficient? Because at some point, I
Uh,
guess you're gonna move back to up to New York after a bit.
yes, yeah. I was with Jeff for maybe I want to say 4 years, 3, 4 years.
Okay.
And yeah, and got all the way up to running the tools, and hand finishing was always my favorite. I always loved running the butts and the screws and corner bead of that nature. But the box and bazooka, yeah, eventually got
Yeah.
up to all that stuff too. But yep, yeah, I remember my first running the stilts. He put me in the stilts, the tall
Yeah.
boys,
Okay.
right in the middle of a room, and
Yeah.
he said, either you're gonna sink or swim. And I
Yeah.
got up in those babies, and the first step I took went down like a ton of bricks,
Really?
scraping the wall all the way down. Yep. Trying to grab onto the wall. Yeah, but
Well, I could
you
say
gotta learn.
that was kind of a dick move. Jeff. Maybe he could have put you next to a wall. If
Yeah,
I think if I was teaching somebody how to walk stilts, I'd be like, dude, don't get cocky first. Stay close to a wall, and like just go cruise around and spot screws, you know, for a couple
yeah.
hours next to a wall and get to where you're comfortable. And then even after that, after you've been walking stilts for years, you got to respect those stilts, man.
Oh, absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
one little mud spot, one little cord,
Yep,
it
absolutely.
hurt.
Or
It
the
hurts.
worst. Yep. One of the worst things is the peg flips out and it feels like you stepped right into a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that feeling, but yeah, you got to get used to it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Sir Pro Stilts. We were up in Surrey recently doing a project with a
Oh,
bunch of
nice.
ballers. Did you catch any of that content on social media?
No, no, I didn't see that. That's on your
We
page?
Columbia, I mean, Columbia Tools sponsored along with a number of other companies, Trimtex, I think CGC, uh, there was Scaffold. Serpro Stilts was one of them. They sponsored and gave a bunch of people stilts. So all of these
Oh,
people,
cool.
Gilbert Taping, Sean Ramsden, It's Your Man Cam, Danny Moody,
Nice.
Teak, Interiors, all of myself, we all went up. I did a little bit of fresco, and they collaborated basically on this house, finishing it. They got a bunch of content, and people sponsored the event, Serpro being one of
Sweet.
them. Serpro stilts are pretty cool, but they have a double wing nut.
Ah, okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I think I did catch a preview of that, but I didn't catch the actual event. But I did catch a preview. Columbia had it on their page preview.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple months out before it got started. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
And
cool.
then
I might have to go and check that out.
yeah, we made a
Yeah.
silly video of like me taking over Columbia Tools with Fresco Harmony. Is like Aaron of Columbia Tools. He likes to make these like little videos, like a little video. So they were running around with Columbia Tools, weaponry, like their tools as weapons. And
Okay.
I had taken over Columbia Tools, and Fresco Harmony was going to take over the world. And then they came in with, and took Columbia Tools back over from me. We had a big brawl, and yeah, I made it out of there by the skin of my teeth.
Oh, cool. I might have to check that out.
It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah, if you scroll through the Columbia page, it's on there, and I'm sure it's on YouTube as well. They have a new social media person, Caden, and he's
Oh,
a
okay.
young kid. He's pretty fantastic. Yeah, he makes a bunch of great content. But it was a
Nice.
pretty cool experience, The drywall community is starting to come together, and it's starting to be pretty cool. We're
Nice.
starting to
Yes,
do some
sir.
cool stuff. But very cool. So your boss puts you on stilts in the middle of the room. You fall immediately. Do you get back on the horse and keep going?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was addicted at that point. It was nothing gonna stop me at that point. The mud that
Yeah.
got into me.
Yeah. Paps was like, oh,
Yep.
I'm gonna learn these bitches.
Yes, sir. Yep. Right
Cool.
back up. Got a little closer to the wall next time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe take a little bit more time to get those sea legs.
Yep.
I mean, you take a couple steps and you're like, oh, I can walk on these. And then, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like they'll humble you real quick.
absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah, but it was a good experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you walk the stilts, and then I guess you graduate. What's the first tool that you learn when you're going through the learning process?
Well, as far as knives go, of course, the 6-inch knife was the first knife, but
Okay.
as far as the auto tools was the
Yeah.
flat box. Flat box was
Okay.
the first tool he put me on.
Okay.
Just got wicked fast with it, and
Yeah.
I'm 2 or 3 rooms ahead of the wipe down guy, and so
Nice.
graduated on to other things after that. But yeah, the flat box was the first tool he actually put me on and
Cool.
run with.
What's your favorite tool to run?
Now it's the bazooka. I've kind of fell in love with the bazooka now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you're running all Columbia tools now,
Yes.
but we're not going to skip ahead of that. We're still in Georgia at this point. Paps gets maybe 3, 4 years in. You start thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I can branch out on my own. Is there a reason why you wanted to go
Um,
back up to New York?
not really to branch out on my own. It was kind of missing home. I'm
Okay.
a New York guy at heart, you know. No,
Sure.
so I just wanted to get back home, get closer to my friends that I grew up with, you know, family
Yeah.
members that's in the area. I mean, other than the people I worked with, it was just my immediate family, wife, son, mom, you know,
Okay.
and just wanted to get back to home base, which is New
Was
York. New York is always home base to me.
Yeah, was Georgia challenging for you in certain ways?
Yes, it was. It was. I was a young guy just starting out, you know, didn't have as much, you know, barely had a vehicle. That baby was holding on by a thread, you know.
Yeah.
So it was hard starting out you know, as a young gentleman.
And I think you have a daughter, right?
Yes,
How old is
yes.
your daughter?
She's 31 now, I believe.
Oh my God, that's old.
Yeah. Yes. Time flies. Time flies.
31. Holy mackerel, Paps.
Yeah.
So,
No, I married into that
oh,
that
oh,
relationship, but
okay.
she's just like my own, you know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change it for the world.
How long have you been with your wife?
Uh, I on 25 years now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So she
yeah,
was
yeah. We've
fair.
been
She was pretty young when you guys got together, 6 or 7.
yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Very cool. So, Paps wants to go back up to New York. Do you start your own company at that time?
No, no, I do not. I find my way to another construction company, and they brought me in. I wouldn't say open arms, but they brought me in and put me to work, and yeah, I stayed with them for maybe a year or year and a half, maybe 2 years, and then the gentleman that I teamed up with, we decided to go out on our own as a team.
Okay.
Mhm.
What was the name of that company that you worked with up in
Uh, Parlor City, Parlor City Drywall, if I remember correctly.
were you
Yeah.
in did you go back to Brooklyn or did you go back to Binghamton?
Binghamton. I stopped in Brooklyn, but I had family in Binghamton, so we made way up to Binghamton, and you know, got our own place, and it's only a few hours from Brooklyn, so it's not too bad. You know, if I do want to go back and get with my friends or anything like that, I always thought that I would, but rarely do.
Yeah, that's a ways. Would
Yeah,
you take a train from Binghamton to Brooklyn?
I would. Yeah, I would. I haven't, but I would. Yeah, they do
Okay,
have the Amtrak service, but I
sure.
haven't done that. But I would love to. You can get a nice little cabin, and yeah, yeah, I would be nice to do. Yeah, why am I
Yeah, we
doing
would
that?
take a
Good idea.
train from Grand Central up to the Catskills to see my sister-in-law. About an hour. They're about an hour outside of the city.
Okay, that's not bad at all. Yes, sir.
No, no. And
I wouldn't mind
for
doing that.
some reason I can't think of the name. It's escaping me of the name of the town that they live in. So you're working with this other company in Binghamton. How long are
Yes.
you with those guys? And did you enjoy that experience?
Mm, yeah, it was fairly good, and you know, of course, I had its lows, but it was decent experience. I stayed with
Yeah.
them for maybe 2 years
Okay.
before the guy I teamed up with, me and him decided to go out on our own as a two-man team and start our own and start subcontracting and stay with that ever since. Yeah.
What did the company think when you and this fellow, who is the fellow you went out with?
Keith, his last name escapes me, but Keith.
Keith something.
Yeah.
And then yeah, did these guys get mad? Were they like kind of upset?
No, because we still did their work. We still put their work on the forefront. So if he had any drywall that he needed done, then we'll take
Cool.
care of that. But it wouldn't be at an hourly rate; it'd be at a subcontractor's rate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And did you go out and get your like drywall license, contractor's license at that point? Did they require one up there?
No, no, just business insurance, pretty much.
Okay.
That's pretty much all you need, and a good portfolio of your work, and that's pretty much it.
What'd you think? Was it difficult going out with Keith there, out of the gate?
Yes, it was scary. It was,
Yeah,
not knowing what the next day holds or the next week or
yeah,
month or, yeah,
yeah.
it was scary at first, but we got our legs pretty quick though.
Because you got your wife, you got any other kids than the daughter?
Yeah, I have my son. He's 22 this year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
God, they're out of the house. It's crazy. I have an 8-year-old. I'm 48. I have an eight.
Oh, okay. Don't look nothing like it.
Started late. I started a little later, but it's fun. Like eight's fun. He's a
Oh, I
great
bet
kid.
he keeps you on your toes, huh?
Yeah, yeah, he's a lot of fun. Okay, so you go out on your own. That is a big jump for anybody that's thinking about going out on their own. People that have done it, it's a jump that's kind of like it's not for everybody. And I've talked to people who go out and come back. They're like, yeah, I tried it for a couple years. It sucks. I'd rather just work for somebody else, that sort of thing. But
Yep.
you stayed on your own. How long were you partnered up with Keith? And would you recommend
Mm.
a partnership if somebody's going to go out on their own? Or is that something? What was your experience there?
Well, it was good. Keith's a good guy. We
Yeah.
stayed together for maybe 6, 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we stayed together for quite a while. And yeah, it was definitely hard to start off with, but we had a pretty decent reputation already. So other contractors um reached out. We reached out to them, so it kind of built up pretty quick. We stayed kind of steady as far as work. Yeah, but it was tough. It was tough. A lot of not knowing. That's always the scariest part is the not knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
and then you'd split the job 50-50?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. And would you prefer, looking back on that experience, would you prefer working with somebody, or I think you've mentioned that you like working by yourself.
Yeah, I do like working by myself, but I did enjoy the experience with him. I don't think it would have been as easier as it was. I mean, it was difficult to start off with, but I don't think it would have been any easier if I did it myself. If I just stepped out
Right.
on my own without a partner, I
Right.
think it would have been much tougher doing it alone.
Yeah.
I think that transition, having somebody with you that you trust, and you guys have a bit of relationship, it makes it easier. It does.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did this relationship with Keith come to an end?
His body kind of turned on him. Legs not the same, wrists not the same. The arthritis really starts kicking in with drywall. He's a little older than me. He's
Yeah.
in his early 50s, so the arthritis starts kicking in, and it really hurts.
Yeah.
So he kind of hung up his knives and do a little bit more painting now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and small little repairs. Things that's not too strenuous.
Yeah.
You know, Keeps busy
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So at this point in time, Keith decides he's going to go his own way. His muscles are hurting. Paps finds himself by himself. What time period are we in at this point? From my calculations, you're starting around 2001-ish. You've got 3 to 4 years with Priest Drywall, 2 years with the other drywall company, and then 6 to 7 years with Keith. I mean, we're at like maybe 10 years, 2012 maybe. When did you finally arrive at your own company?
I want to say mid 2013, I believe.
Okay, so that's about right from what I got.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it started off slow, but yeah, gradually picked up. Like I said, the reputation, we had a pretty good
yeah,
reputation, so the contractor stuck around.
yeah,
So it wasn't a hard transition. The
yeah,
worst part about it was losing, a close friend, and not losing a close friend, but working with me daily.
yeah,
You miss that guy. You miss him. You
yeah,
miss him after a while. Especially we
yeah,
didn't part ways on bad terms. So
of course.
Yeah, so a couple of days I'm working around. I say, I want to yell out, "Hey, Keith," you know, tell him
Yeah,
a story or something like that. Oh, he's not
yeah.
here no more, you know.
But I mean, you seem like a fantastic guy to work with, Paps. And it's you came up as Joshua. Is it Joshua? Is that your actual name?
Yes. Yep. Yes, sir.
Where the
Yep,
hell where the
Joshua.
hell does Paps come from?
Perhaps that's a long story. That goes back to birth.
Do you go by Paps or do you go by Joshua?
Well, to my immediates, I go by Paps, and I kind of embrace that a little more. But yeah, Josh is the more professional side of me. But yes,
Okay, all
sir.
right. On the Drywall Podcast, you're Paps. You're Paps Dugan.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Is
There
it
you go.
Dugan or Duggins?
Duggins.
Duggins.
Yes.
All right, just so we're pronouncing it correctly. Excellent. Because you
Much
know,
appreciate it. Appreciate that.
I too am I too am not scholastically oriented, and I have to ask a couple times, and I think it's important to make sure people get my name correctly, or do you want to go by Joshua? Do you want to go by Paps? I like Paps. I think it's cool. Paps Duggins is a fantastic. Duggins is a fantastic name. And then
Thank
out
you.
of the gate, were you Mud Madness?
No, actually, when I started the page, I started with the Mud Madness, and
Okay.
but before that, no, that was just kind of throwing names in the air and seeing which one flowed the right way, and that felt like it flowed the right way.
Yeah, but didn't you have to have a name when you went to get your insurance and all of that? I mean, you
Oh
and
yeah,
Keith,
no,
what were you and Keith called?
we just did business as a DBA, but
DBA.
yeah. So eventually I became Slick Finish when I went out on my own,
Oh,
and
Slick Finish.
yeah, and that name goes back to Jeff Priest. He always said, "Quick make it slick, and slow makes it show." And the slick always stuck with me. So it's
I like
always been a
that.
slick finish for me. Yes, sir.
You know,
That was
you
his
know,
motto.
I think you're the only Slick Finish guy that I've heard of. Up in Canada, they call it crispy. Like it nice and
Crispy.
crisp.
Oh wow.
Crispy.
Okay.
I like that crisp.
Yeah, I like that too.
The scene, everything's nice and crispy. I
Yes,
like that
sir.
too. I do like Slick Finish, and Slick Finish is kind of a thing too. I think I remember in the Northwest they would call it Slick Finish, like
Yeah.
smooth finish,
Smooth
Slick
sales.
Finish.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Cool. But where does the Mud Madness fit into that? And also, which platform? I'm assuming Facebook preceded Instagram, and I think that's where I first started seeing
Yes.
Paps and the Drywall Alien and some of your funny stuff that you were doing on Facebook.
Yes.
Um, so did you go? You're Slick Finish currently?
Yes. Yeah. That's
Okay.
still the business name. Yep. And
What?
the
Why
Facebook
am
page.
why am I? Where's the Mud Madness coming from? Where am I? Why am I
Mud
getting that?
Madness was kind of just a flowing kind of name. Like I thought that it would be a little catchy for Instagram. It
Oh,
kind of the alleviates the question of what I do. You know, Mud
yeah.
Madness, it kind of explains it, and what I thought it kind of explains it. I sling mud all day. It's a Mud Madness situation.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I do.
Okay. But you were on Facebook earlier on and you captured the attention of Columbia Tools, so much so
Yep.
that you were one of their, or you were their first ambassador, correct?
Yeah. Doubt I was the first ambassador, but yeah. Eventually, they put me a part of the program, and yeah, that was great. I tip my hats off to them, and
Yeah.
I love Columbia for that, and the quality tools and the experience. That was great.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe Phil was first, but they were looking out for people on social media that were schlepping their tools and
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy's like putting it up, on social media. Were you doing the funny videos out of the gate, or because I just remember
Well,
I remember the clapping video where you like run the box and then you do like like a clap track or an applause.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
but
funny.
I think they kind of evolved. I tried to keep it mixed up, not always funny, not always, just clips of me running a tool. So I try to keep it a little mixture of content, so it doesn't get too stale. But in the drywall world, it's not really much you can do. It's just one wall, one ceiling, And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to come up with fresh ideas to keep the content interesting.
Absolutely. Are you still coming up with fresh? I haven't seen a lot lately. Do you have some ideas in mind?
Oh
Because
yeah,
because
absolutely.
I mean, like with me, it's like the farther it goes, and like with TikTok and some of these video editing platforms, Reels, it's getting more challenging to create original content that's creative and unique because
Yeah,
there's so much you can do now, you know.
absolutely. Yeah, so I got a few ideas brewing in the oven, and I have a bunch of videos still in my library that I just have to sit back and get editing on, and I get those out. But yeah, I do have a bunch of content that I'm gonna be pushing out here kind of aggressively here soon. Um, just finding the few minutes to sit down, and not really a few minutes because editing is the longest part of it, but
Yeah.
but yeah, just finding that time to sit down and really focus on that, and then
Yeah.
take time.
And you are on TikTok, correct?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Try and hit as many platforms as possible. YouTube. I gotta pick it up a little more, but yeah. Other than that, yeah, I try and make a presence on most of the social media platforms.
Okay. All right. Very cool. And lastly, you were the drywall alien rears his head every now and again. And that's kind of a funny story because I remember in our first episode, I was asking you, what's up with this drywall alien? And I remember Christy Slade specifically was like, oh, I love Paps and I love his little, like, he's got the little
She's
alien
great.
creature. Yeah, yeah, this little alien creature that bounces and bebops around on the screen when Paps is running his tools and stuff. What was the inspiration for this alien character? And if you don't know, and if you're listening, Paps is wearing a drywall alien shirt, which
Yes, sir.
uh, I need to get one of those. Maybe we can do a trade. I'll send you a fresco shirt for a drywall alien shirt.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
I'd
Yes,
love to
sir.
have one. What was the inspiration for the drywall alien? The third or fourth, we got Mud Madness, we got Paps Duggins, Slick Finish, and now the drywall alien. You probably have more aliases than anybody on the drywall podcast, which is awesome. The alien, where did you get this from?
Well, this just another persona of me. I'm a skinny, big head guy, you know what I mean? So that's the alien in me,
Yeah.
and when I went out on my own, going to some of these jobs, they're huge, To go to some of these commercial jobs, you got hundreds of square foot, 10,000 square foot jobs, and you walk in, this little guy's gonna do all this square foot. Everybody's looking at me like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm an alien pretty much, And
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I start to get running and be like, oh, okay, okay. I see what he's about.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's using the tools. He's really fast.
Yeah, he's getting it done.
That's
But
cool.
whereas when I first walk in the door, they're like, yeah, okay, we'll be walking him out of here soon. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but that's
you do commercial as well as residential. Do you like
yes.
what would you prefer?
Residential more, only because usually the only person in there I don't have multiple trades working around, and not that it's usually a problem on commercial. We all have to work together, so we try to accommodate and stay out of each other's way, and but it could be a little troublesome sometime on those commercial sites. When you have to move somebody's big old tool trail out of the way to get to a wall just to hit a seam and move it
Yeah.
back to hit another seam. So
Yeah.
it does make it a little more difficult to get your job done. But other than that, I haven't run into any jerks or anything like that on commercial sites. They
Good.
usually accommodate and move their tools if need be, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
residential is where it's at, and as far as I'm concerned, it's where it's at. Residential, I get to go in there, get my mud going, and I run, doing my music, and that's at the end of the day. At the end of the day,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you charge more for commercial versus residential?
no, no, it's pretty much the same price of. Well, depending on residential, how uh, detailed they get, sometimes you have the off angles and archways, and of course that's more, per special item. But other than that,
Yeah.
it's pretty much it starts at the same.
Yeah. And are you doing any texture over there?
It has slowed down so much as far as texture. I haven't done texture in years. It's
Okay.
been maybe 3 or 4 years since I've done a texture. Everyone wants a slick ceiling, smooth
Okay.
walls,
Yeah.
unless they go with plaster. Plaster is where the texture is coming in nowadays. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so other than that, it's just pretty much smooth walls and ceilings as
Yeah.
far as I've been getting. Yeah.
All
I
right.
miss it too, because I used to like doing texture ceilings.
Yeah. What kind of texture were you doing?
The bird's crow, eagle's crow, and
Yeah.
the
Crowfoot.
star stipple, crowfoot. There you go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the star stipple,
Okay.
flat end drag, yeah, orange peel.
You do it. Yeah. You do some spray texture
Yes,
a little bit.
got the spray machine in the garage, but I haven't haven't had to break it out in three
Collecting
years
dust.
now.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. Very cool.
absolutely.
Cool. And then going back to the Columbia ambassadorship, that preceded some of your content. Would you say that's because of the content that you're producing on social media, those guys? And they just reached
Um,
out to you, and how did that work?
if I remember correctly, yeah, I was putting out buku videos, pretty much a video every day, sometimes multiple videos a day, and really, Brad, uh, yeah, his last name slips me now, of course.
Brad
Oh,
Hannah.
yes, there you go, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. He pretty much vouched for me, like this guy's great, and that kind of pulled their eyes towards me,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, you know, yes, I thank him from the bottom of my heart too for he was one of the first guys to
Yeah.
to really pay attention to my videos, and yeah, thanks, Brad. If you're listening,
Yeah.
I really
Have
appreciate
you?
out there, brother.
Yeah. Shout out to Brad. Have you met Brad Hannah? He's a character.
No, no, I love to meet him in person. He
Yeah.
seems like yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
time.
He's a
Absolutely.
good guy. I met him up at they had a opening at the CSR in Barrie, Ontario,
Mm,
a soft opening, and got to meet him. And yeah, I've met all those guys now. It's a
oh, great.
really cool community. Yeah, hopefully I'm in communication with somebody in Philadelphia right now. About a project over there. We've been doing these drywall adventures,
Oh,
Surry,
cool.
this job being one of those adventures. But how cool would it be to get Paps involved on one of these adventures? That'd be cool.
That'd be an honor.
You
Yeah,
get with,
absolutely.
you get with all these amazing drywall finishers, and you get to, razz each other and
Yeah.
work next to some of these guys that have been on social media and that you've seen work for a long time. And it's a really great experience. And maybe
I
do
can
some
imagine.
fresco too. The guy that I'm talking to in Philadelphia has got a little bit of fresco harmony. It'd be cool to let people do fresco and
No, absolutely.
get some experience doing that stuff as well.
Yeah, I'd be honored to be included in that. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll talk to Aaron and Elliot. I know I put the contractor. So it's a big house in. How far away are you from Philadelphia?
I believe about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, okay. You could make it down
Yeah,
there then.
it's not too bad at all.
All right,
No.
all right. So we're in conversation. It's a massive house. He's, but they're talking about doing, some social media type stuff with some influencers and things like that, and
Oh, great.
getting sponsorships and things like that for this house. So we're talking about it, but Paps would be fun. You'd be fun to have
I
include.
love it.
Yeah, yeah. All these people are really great. Have you heard of Teak Interiors?
Yes, yes, I've caught a bunch of her videos. Also, yes, she's great
Great.
on the Hawking trial. Yes.
Yeah, and then the Gilbert taping, those
Yep.
two, and
Yep.
then
Absolutely.
yeah. Have you Brawley's dad, Sean Ramsden? You follow him?
Yes. Yes. I caught a bunch of his videos. Does he have a podcast also?
Yeah, he's got a podcast, so he interviews people. He was talking a little bit of trash on his last podcast about how I don't have people on a second time enough, and so this is Pap's second time on.
Absolutely.
And he's right. No shame. I try to. There's a lot of drywallers out there.
Exactly.
I try to keep it fresh and new each, I don't want to interview the same people over and over, but it is kind of, I will say, an elitist sort of club, to be invited back on the Drywall podcast the second time. Cause I'm always I want to find new people, um,
Absolutely. Yes,
to
sir.
interview, keep the interviews,
And there's a lot of
fresh.
finishes out there. A lot of great finishes out
A lot
there.
of great
Yeah.
finishers. Yeah. We've had, Myron Ferguson, Derek Trout, just Murray, a lot of really great. Drywall Shorty was on with Joe Koenig, with Trimtex,
Yes.
Wolfgang with Can-Am Tools. Yeah, a lot of cool people. It's been fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and catch a bunch of episodes too. Catch up on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, J Wall. I just got back from camping and I was listening to the beginning of J Wall he's in up in Canada, Ontario. And that's a funny one. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos.
No,
He's
I don't
called
believe so.
he's called J Wall. You could look him up on
J-Wall, okay.
Instagram, but he got famous on TikTok. And his videos are just like he's just ridiculous. Really, really funny. So yeah, you got to check out him. He's always like filling the electrician's boxes with mud, and
Oh man.
he's kind of looking over his shoulders and like filling the box with mud, like that sort of thing. But so good to talk with you again, Paps. Like
Oh, same here.
2 years, crazy man. Episode number one and episode number 100.
Absolutely
That's
honored.
that's pretty cool. And I remember our first conversation. The audio is not quite as good. I was going to re-release our first conversation. I was like, nah, I'll just interview Paps again.
Let's do it again. Yes, sir.
What would you say that you've been doing since that first episode 2 years ago? Are you doing anything different? Has your approach changed? Social media? Maybe you weren't on Instagram as much. Is that new?
Yeah, no, Instagram was one of besides the Facebook was one of the first platforms that I jumped on and kind of grew from there. But yeah,
Okay.
other than that, I've just been trying to expand as far as the area where I'm working at.
Okay.
Trying to bring new builders in, new
Sure.
contractors in, and trying to expand more. Trying to get a crew going now.
Okay. All right.
And kind of like take a little bit of the back burner, so
Yeah.
to speak, behind
Yeah.
the scenes approach,
Yeah.
and and doing a little bit more renovating on homes, flipping homes, and things of that
Okay.
nature. I'm still
Smart.
working on the one I'm living on, and
Yeah.
it's funny. I get all the other ones done, but the one I'm living
Yeah.
in takes the back seat. But
I feel
yeah,
like you were working on your home last time we talked.
yes, sir. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's pretty funny. Yeah, gosh, you were 39, I guess the last time we talked. You must have been 39 then. Very cool.
Yes, sir.
If There was a one question I've been asking is something that Paps has done in your career where you thought you were always against it, you thought it would never work, that it was a stupid idea, and then you tried it and discovered that it's a game changer and you would never do it differently again. What would that be?
Mm. Ooh, that's a good question there. Wow. Ay, ay, ay.
You
I
know,
would say,
we're drywallers. We're stubborn, and we have ways that we like to do things. But sometimes it's like, that fiber fuse is stupid. But then I tried it, and I like really like
it's
fiber fuse.
great.
Like I'll never use any like anything like that. For you, that was just a game changer. That you would never do it a different way, and you promote that way.
Um, I believe coat and corner bead. I was doing it by hand pretty much my whole career, and then
Uh,
I've been seeing the flat boxes on it, and I'm like, let me give that a try. Let me see how that
duh.
works. And I'm like, oh wow, that's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
great.
And
I'm gonna be doing that a lot more.
you're probably using a lower profile like trim text type bead, yeah?
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's been working great, and I kind of don't want to go back to hand doing the corner bead.
Right.
Why would you if you have the box volume going?
Even around windows, do you go around the corner?
Yeah, I'm getting a little better at that. That's taking a little more finesse. But yeah,
Yeah, because I
no, I'm
guess you could
getting
do
it.
half and half, but you could almost go up and around,
Yeah,
and then just pull the right side or whatever,
on the side. Yep, yep.
Interesting.
It's been working great. Yeah, I love
Very
it.
cool. Is what type of corner bead do you use?
The B1 beat, what was that USG? I think USG makes
USG?
that USG sheetrock. Yep.
Is it a paper
You,
face?
yeah, paper face, metal
Okay.
back. Yeah, it
Okay.
goes on nice and slicks down nice. Just needs a little mud and wipe it tight, and she's good to go.
Yeah, I like that
That and
paper.
a trim tech.
I like that paper face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do like
Very
the
cool.
the trim tech also, but yeah, they don't really have that too much in my area. Pretty much the metal bead and the paper face bead.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then a question that I ask everybody post Pap's original episode is a pearl of wisdom. And we've had two pearls of wisdom collective episodes on the 50th episode of the Drywall podcast. And then on like that 98th, we had a
Mm.
pearl of wisdom, you know, collective of all the pearls of wisdoms that the drywall applicators have said throughout the episodes. What is your pearl of wisdom if you could bestow on the drywall community something maybe that you could put on a billboard that would help instill inspiration in your fellow tradesmen? What would it be?
Mm. Oh, ay, that's a good question. Say, pass along the trade, pass it down. Don't gatekeep the trade. You know, it only survives if we pass it down to the youth. Uh, the youth don't get involved, and drywall dies out.
Yeah, yeah,
Pass it along, share that knowledge. Absolutely,
share the
each one teach
knowledge.
one. Each one teach one. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Actually, I gotta take my own advice and get me an apprentice here soon to pass it down myself.
Yeah.
My son doesn't want any part of it.
Smart kid.
Yeah, it's kind of my fault. I brought him in on sand day for one of his first
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
wrong move. Don't do that,
Yeah,
guys.
ran him right off. Let him come in and like mix some mud, spot screws a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, when I was an apprentice, I got thrown to the dogs. I mean, it was like cleaning tools and moving
Oh
scaffold. And
yeah.
yeah. If we got to spot screws, that was like a good day, But
Hmm.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. If you're out there looking for apprentices or people to help, don't make them sand right out of the gate. You don't run them
Yeah.
off.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Have you found some helpers though that have worked out?
Oh yeah, I've worked with local guys here and there, but nothing really stuck.
Okay.
I'm
It's
looking
hard.
for looking for that one that just falls in love with it, I guess,
Yeah.
and that wants to do it day in and day out. I haven't really run into that yet, but I've worked with some good young guys lately. Just hope one sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll find somebody. You're such a nice guy, and
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure that you would be an amazing mentor to work with. I know I would enjoy working with you, and maybe we'll get a chance. We'll keep talking about it, and I'll talk to Arian. It'd be really
Let
cool
me get
though.
yours.
You come out and help out and do some drywall with some ballers.
Oh, absolutely,
Maybe
absolutely, yes, sir.
maybe make a little bit of money, like, whatever. If we all get together, do a house and
I'd be
split the proceeds.
honored.
That'd be so cool, huh?
Yes, sir. I'd be honored to be included in that.
Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Well, we'll keep you on the short list. Paps Duggins. I keep saying
Yes,
Duggins,
sir.
but it's Duggins, 41 years young, out of Binghamton, New York, with us on the 100th episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today, man.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations on the big 100. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you,
Keep it
sir.
going.
All right. We will talk soon. I hope you have a productive rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
All
Thank you
right,
for
buddy.
having me.
All right, talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Special thanks to Paps for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. Second verse, loved it. Awesome stuff. Looking forward to maybe having you back on for episode 200. Who knows? Curious about one of the episodes of the Drywall Podcast, or you have questions for me or concerns, you can email me directly at info@frescoharmony.com or give me a call, 505-400-9313. I would love to hear from you. Fresh episodes of the Drywall Podcast can be listened to every Friday, or most Fridays, I should say, on your favorite platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. You can watch this video in its entirety on our YouTube channel as well. This episode of the Drywall Podcast was brought to you by Rocket City Drywall. Not only are they contributing to the success of the Drywall Podcast, but you can listen to owner Alana Black's story on episodes 96 and 97. Alana discusses her path to owning this thriving drywall retailer and how that path enabled her to discover a new product, Back to Earth. We also talk about that product. Some of her accolades that may be worth mentioning are: she was YP of the Year, Chamber of Commerce 2016, Female Entrepreneur of the Year, Women's Business Center 2018, Alabama Small Business Person of the Year, SBA Washington, D.C. 2019, and that last one is probably the most significant. She is a powerhouse and her story is great. If you are inclined, check it out. I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.